If you have a Kiwisaver account being managed by one of the large trading banks, for example, the fees you're paying are excessive, unjustifiable, and a huge source of profit for the bank you're with. That's the view of Sam Stubbs, the former CEO of Tower Investments, who's one of the people behind Simplicity, a new non-profit Kiwisaver plan with much lower fees. It sounds like a marketing push, and it is, but Sam Stubbs insists it's not one anyone will be profiting from other than Kiwisaver investors themselves. Given this is a man who previously ran a company making money out of Kiwisaver, I asked him why.
Because it's the right thing to do, and it's the biggest opportunity that the group of us have found to give something back to New Zealand.
When you say it's the right thing to do, I remember, of course, that you were the CEO of Tower,
Sure.
and Tower was driven by profits, by margins.
Yep.
And so have you had some kind of road to Damascus experience?
Sort of in a way, I guess. Look, first of all, is back when I was looking after the money at Tower, Kiwisaver was quite a small business, and the fees that the industry were charging, which is always a percentage of what you save, weren't massive in dollar figures, and you had, computer systems to pay for and sunk costs and so on. Now, 3 years later, I've been out of the market for 3 years. Kiwisaver's huge. It's $33 billion, and the fees the industry are charging are $300 million a year now.
$300 million last year.
$300 million last year.
In fees?
Yep. Yeah.
On Kiwisaver?
On Kiwisaver, yep. It's a huge amount of money, and the profit on that now must be enormous.
Speculate. So what would the profit be?
Look, this is purely guess, because no one wants to publish these numbers. It's very hard to find them. But having previously run one, and we've got directors of other schemes on our board, we think that the industry is making at least $150 million of profit from Kiwisaver. And remember, that's on no capital. That just comes in every year. And if that carries on, by 2030, when Kiwisaver will be a $200 billion pile of money, we think those profits will be at least $1.3 billion. It's an astronomical amount of money.
Is there any other return in the broader banking sector that matches it?
Look, I think because there's no capital, and I think because it's all sort of incremental business, you've already paid for your branches and your sales agents. It's incredibly lucrative. Look, I think that the reason that some of the bigger players have been so keen on getting Kiwisaver market share is because they know exactly what's going on.
So when you first set it up, there is administration, there are people running the schemes, there are people writing the programs, all that kind of stuff. So you're talking about an average fee of 1.3%, right?
1.35% is the average fee right now for all Kiwisaver funds.
So you say that was fair and reasonable at the beginning, but now so much money is coming in, and they're still charging 1.3% as an average, that the ticket is being clipped.
It's massively being clipped. I think this is a gravy train for the industry right now, and something has to be done. And what typically happens in markets now is exactly what we're doing. So we're bringing Simplicity in, but it's a model which is very proven overseas. You come in and you charge people what it costs and no more. And that if you ever run the risk of making a profit, you just lower your fees and you carry on lowering your fees. That sets a whole new low benchmark for the industry, so it forces better behaviours. But it also, obviously, for the people within the scheme, that they can feel very comfortable that they're only ever being charged what it costs.
So if people transfer to Simplicity, are you saying that banks will respond by lowering fees?
I have no idea what they will do. What I know we will do is we will charge only what it costs, and what that is actually half the average cost right now.
So what do you think it costs to run this
well,
fee?
we know
scheme?
Yeah, we know it costs about half that 1.35. So we're charging 0.6% all up, and it will continue to go down as we get the benefits of scale.
So the more money that comes in, the lower your fees will...
Absolutely. We are completely committed to continually lowering our fees and charging only what it costs.
Are you getting paid to do this?
No, I'm
Why not?
Look, I'm doing this for love. I'm doing this to give back. I've had a very, very lucky life, John, and I've had a very lucky career, and here is a fantastic chance to give back. And we've got 30 people involved in this organisation. Only 5 of them are on salaries. The other 25 are effectively giving their services pro bono because they realise the scale, just a huge difference we can make. Let me give you some quick numbers, right? We're pretty confident that we can make the average Kiwisaver about $65,000 better when they retire. So the average person will have about $300,000 with these lower fees and the compounding effect of that. Remember, it stays in your account, it earns money. We think we'll make the average person about $65,000 richer. Now imagine if we did that for 100,000.
Sorry, forgive me. So instead of $300,000, they'll have $365,000.
Yeah, something like that.
And tell me who that person is. They're starting Kiwisaver at what age?
They're starting at 20. They're saving for 45 years. They're on the average salary their entire lives, and they're making the minimum contributions.
The minimum contribution.
The minimum contributions.
And if simply from moving to the kind of fee structures that trading banks banks, for example, have, to the fee structure that you're implementing, they will make an extra 65 grand.
It is effectively a 20% pay rise when they retire. Now, in Australia, we know this works because in Australia, the equivalent number is $250,000. Fees really matter.
So the Aussies are charging more than the Kiwis?
Well, the average Aussie has a much higher contribution rate, so they'll be giving about, in a few years, they'll be giving 12% as a minimum contribution. So, of course, if you're charging a fee on that 12%, it compounds. You know, it really starts to matter. So, in Australia, there's been plenty of research to show that the single biggest thing you can do to increase your household income is to go into a low-fee superannuation product, because the numbers are just so huge. So, think about that 65,000. Imagine if we got 100,000 members, and that's only between 3 and 4% market share. That's $6.5 billion that would have otherwise gone by and large to Australia and by and large to the banks in terms of profits back into the pockets of Kiwis. And at that fee level, we can still afford to give 15% of our management revenue to charity, which we're going to do. And those charities will be focused on financial education, financial literacy, what Kiwis need to know about money. Because the interesting thing about that is, money's not hard, John. Money's not complex. The basic things you need to know about money are very simple. And if people just understood that, and if there was just some really basic education, and they made some really sensible decisions like this, going into a low-fee product, they'd be a lot better off.
That was Sam Stubbs from Simplicity.